Hello and welcome to Dev Radio. Once again, I forgot to play my theme music at the opening. I always do that when I'm here by myself going solo. But thank you for joining me. And today I'm going to walk through the Hackathon registration experience and go over some of how the Hackathon works and the site itself. Like I said, bear with me. I'm not used to doing this on my own, and I'm usually just sort of asking questions. So let us start. Actually, let me share my screen here. And it's not exactly what I wanted. And hello, Elizabeth. Thank you for chiming in. So I'm putting this on screen just for a minute. These are kind of the key things for the instructions for how you go about accepting the invitation. And I'm putting this up here right now because it's a live demo, and you never know if things are going to work exactly or not. At the end of the day, the best thing to do is to reach out to me. If you run into a problem, you can always reach me at matthew.calder@microsoft.com or at the msdev@microsoft.com alias. But these are the steps I'm going to walk through. It's always good to open it in an incognito window because we are dealing with a lot of sort of, interesting authentication issues. We're going back and forth between browsers and the Microsoft tenant, and you're essentially creating a guest account for you within the Microsoft tenant so you can actually enter the Hackbox environment. And then when you do return back, be sure that you use the invitation from the link from the invitation that you get. So here I am. This is my actual personal email account. First step, copy that link. Next step, open an in-private window. Pasting my link in there. It's going to ask me for the email address I got the invite from. Pulling up my authenticator on my phone here. Okay, then we will accept the terms and the confidentiality agreement. Here we are. I'm in. That was a successful demo. The rest of this will go smoothly. Okay, let me go ahead and answer this question. So I haven't received the Hackbox link. Do we need to contact somebody? So and a couple other people said me too. I'm getting all the names and email addresses directly from the organizations that I sponsor that we work with. So the organization that you trained with that helped you prepare for the hackathon, that help you get your certification or your qualifying credential. Those folks are sending me everyone's names and email addresses. I've only gotten a few so far, so they'll continue to go out over the next few days. I did run into one issue where for people who've participated in previous hackathons, we may need to ask you for an alternate email address. But don't worry if you don't have your invite yet. If you don't have it, by Thursday, send mail to me, Matthew.Calder at Microsoft.com, and we'll follow up to be sure that we get you invited. Once you are here on the site, the first thing you'll want to do is register. And so I'm going to walk through the profile. I think I've already got an existing profile with this identity, but skills you want to contribute, see, ideation and innovation. Sure, I'll put that in. It kind of gives you some suggestions. And this is helpful to put in when you register, so other people can find you, other people looking for similar talents or just what you've got. It'll help as you start to connect with teams. And we'll get to that in a moment. What you're looking to do. Great to put in your LinkedIn address and your GitHub identity as well. Save and continue that. And then you should all register as hackers. Advisors are people who will volunteer to coach and help you out. A lot of them will come from the organizations that we sponsor. Many of them will come from Microsoft as well. There's a big community of people at Microsoft that support this program. We'll talk about advisors in a moment. You can register as both, but again, most everyone here will be just registering as just a hacker. And open receiving invitations to join a project. You probably should check that yes, because unless you already have your team set, you're going to want to use the Hackbox features to connect with each other and come together in a team. Additional questions. What are you intending or planning to learn during this hackathon? What skills do you wish to develop? Just put a few things in there. What organization helped you prepare for your certification or got you trained for your credential for this? Go through, and it should be one of these in here. I'll just go ahead and pick ByteCon. Provide a link to the credential you earned. Now for this one, I'll show you how to find this. And this would be the Microsoft certification that you got as part of your preparation, or the credential for the applied skills, or the other your qualifying credential to get into the program. And so here's how you find it. I'm signed into Microsoft Learn here. Going over to my profile, my credential page. This is all I've got in this identity here is just my Azure fundamentals. I'll go ahead and click View Certification Details, view the certification page. Oh, that's about the certification. Sorry, I always mess up when I'm doing live demos. This is what you want to grab. You want to grab Share and copy that link. I'm going to bounce back over to Hackbox, finish my registration here. And that's the link you want to provide there. That shows us what you did to prepare, how you got qualified, how you got your knowledge that you're bringing to the hackathon. Okay, so I'm now registered. The first question, another question in here. Read the descriptions of the open challenges. Show it until after the challenge is made public before forming teams. I would say go ahead and get in. Wait till start forming teams. Start looking at the challenges, and I'll cover the challenges in a moment. I've got 2 already published, and I'll be publishing some more into the site throughout the week. So if you like the first 2 I've got there, you can get started. But very quickly, here's what's on the homepage. And if you prefer Spanish or Portuguese, just keep scrolling down the page. We've got the same material in those languages. Got the schedule of events here. You can also find the events over on the Events tab. This is everything that we've got coming up. I like to toggle on also show past events, because then you'll be able to get to these recordings and things like that. Going back to the About page. So get your team together on a project, choose a challenge, set up the repo, and start hacking. But So first I'll go into creating a project. So someone on the team has to go create a project. Maths test project is a good name. Should be open for others to join. You can put in help you need, skills you're looking for from other people. The tagline, big stuff, keywords, just it's keywords, so demo, test, put that in there, subscription, demo, purposes only. If you want to put HTML in there, let's see, Markdown works like this. Let me find a good link. If you want to put an HTML link in there, you type your link text, parentheses, and a close bracket, open parentheses, URL goes there, close parentheses there, and then it would show up. Oh, there you see, it actually thinks it's a link. I'll just get a 404 though. Select a challenge for this purpose. I'm going to click AI for supported employment job coaches, writing code, yes, and save the project. Okay, so now I've got a project here. And if you want to go ahead and find hackers. Okay, so maximum of people per team and rough estimate of number of participants. So you should have a team. Maximum number of people is 5. Minimum number is 2. You can't compete by yourself. Hacking is a team sport. And then the prize for the hackathon will be divided among everyone on the team. The first place prize, 5 people, each person would get $2,000. 2 people, each person gets $5,000. I would focus on the benefit of building something awesome and advancing your career more than the short-term benefit of the prize, but however you guys want to do it. Sometimes you start with some people and they drop off, they can't commit. You might have to adjust your team. That happens in every hackathon. Rough estimate of the number of participants. I expect we'll probably have between 150 and 200 people participating in this round. So you can either click here to go find other hackers, or you can click here to go find advisors. I'm going to go just back to the home page. Kind of go through it this way. So first of all, challenges. This is where you'll see more of them later. But okay, so I chose AI for supported employment job coaches. What's this one all about? And tomorrow afternoon, I'll be talking to Bryce Johnson from the Microsoft. I can't remember the name of his lab. He was the inventor of the Xbox adaptive controller. So he's all about adaptive technologies at Microsoft. And this is one that he's personally pretty passionate about. And the idea is, there are people that they can certainly do jobs, but they need a little bit of help, right? They've got different disabilities. And there's a role called a job coach who works with them to be sure that they fit well into wherever their employment is. And this challenge is basically like, hey, do something with this idea. How can AI be used to help the people that are job coaches be more productive? Come down here and see a bunch of resource links. This is one to a Canadian organization that focuses on providing job coaches and supporting people with disabilities. And down here, and so there's a person from that organization who will be talking with me tomorrow. So the question is about registering set interest certifications. If you don't have one, is that a mandatory field? It is a mandatory field. You need to put something in there that shows the work that you've done, the learning that you've done. And so it should probably be a link from Microsoft Learn. There is a problem with our applied skills credentials assessments right now. So for those, if you took the applied skills route as opposed to the Microsoft certification route, then I'm looking for you to show me that you've completed the entire learning path at least for that. There are some other organizations that we're working with where we're looking at alternate credentials that they've got. I'm handling those on a case-by-case basis. If you're putting, but please put something into that link so that we can assess, what you've done to get to this point. And I really do encourage everyone to get those formal Azure credentials. There's not a lot of people with the Microsoft AI credentials in the market right now, so it does put you kind of in an elite group to have that. And so this is where you find the projects. Going back to the About page, I'll just do everything from here, although you can see everything's in the drop-down. So explore projects. This is where you can see, okay, well, here's Matt's, right? So someone could go in here, and if they weren't me, they would probably see something about ask to join. There would be a button for ask to join. And you could do that. It would be sent. I'd get a message through Hackbox saying, hey, someone wants to join, and there you could connect that way. The other way is to come in here and find other hackers. I could reach out to say, Godfrey, and say, hey, I could click this, and he would be invited to the project that I set up. And so he would be aware of it. Or I could reach out to him on LinkedIn, got his email contact here. Well, he doesn't have his email here, but many people will have their email available in their profile. If you want to change that, you can go to your view profile, and sort of update things here. I've got my email address in there. Go back to Hackbox. To and advisors. So let me answer this one here. Is it one group per project, or can a project have multiple groups working on it? Oh, there will be multiple groups working on each project. I mean, there's only going to be 3 to 5 projects total in the hackathon, and so you'll be doing your best to show something cool on the same idea that other people are building on as well. And so we'll talk about judging in a moment as well. And so that actually really helps our judges, because they're comparing apples to apples in many cases with looking at these. Going back to this question here, those Azure credentials only associated with our Hackbox accounts or associated with our emails in general. The Azure credentials that we'd be looking for are associated with your Microsoft Learn accounts in general. And so again, to go to MS Learn, all kinds of interesting stuff in my autocomplete here. And where you find them, you'd sign in. I don't think I actually have an account with that one, so let's use another account. That's my demo account. Let's hope that is the right password. That is not. I won't waste your time watching me sign in again. But if you want to see where I got those credentials, go ahead and just go back to earlier in the video where I did it out of my other browser. So here we've got advisors. You've got Godfrey again, his volunteer as an advisor. Delton is also volunteered as an advisor. You'll be seeing more people show up. If someone actually has their photo in here, that means they're a Microsoft employee, because it's pulling from our Microsoft Azure Active Directory, or Entra database. Guests don't have that image, so that's why most people just have the letters of their name. But let's say, okay, I wanted to reach out to Delton. I could contact him, could find out what he wants to be asked about, learn a little bit more about him and what he's here, and then find a way to connect with him. And that doesn't look like he's very contactable here, but most Microsofties will have their email address or their LinkedIn profile, and you can find them there. So I have covered everything in the main navigation here. A couple more things I'll show up here. This I include because it's just kind of fun. This is an interesting site that we maintain. It has all kinds of cool stuff, a lot of good stuff about GitHub Copilot. I do encourage people to use GitHub Copilot as part of your hackathon experience. If you want to very quickly get started on a project, GitHub Copilot is great for that. The link to email help and support, that comes to me. It's the msdev@microsoft.com email address. And then the discussion forum. This is the repo on GitHub that we use. And I keep all the discussions up from past hackathons because most of the questions that get asked haven't changed. I think looking for team members is a good one to stop in on. You can describe the project you're working on, sort of look for other folks who might have the same idea or be interested in the idea that you have. The discussion board here is very helpful. And you can also in there, I put interesting resources and things. So I think I've got most of those under announcements. Actually, let's just go back up to all discussions. So responsible AI resources, for example, got some interesting things here. I'm going to talk about responsible AI in just a minute, because now I'm going to get down into, well, actually, first I'll ask this question. What kind of career opportunities are available through this kind of event? We do this because we want to help people with their careers for sure. And the way that this mostly helps you with your career is, very soon you're going to be sitting in a job interview or asking for a promotion or a raise, and you'll be asked, well, give me an example of a project you've worked on where you've built an AI solution. And how did that go? And you'll have to talk about it. This gives you that experience. You'll have those stories. The other thing you'll have is that we definitely promote the winners publicly. We'll interview you on YouTube. We post about you, and we make sure that people know who you are and what you've done. That's one way that this helps. The other way is that I take the interesting entries, because a lot of these projects are actually, the challenge projects are coming from actual Microsoft customers, and I do put the projects together and then debrief them on, like, hey, here's the project that happened, here's the team that worked on it. If you want to meet some new talent, we'll make the introduction to you there. And the other is just the networking of all the Microsoft people you're meeting, and the networking with each other as well. Hackathons, I always encourage people who are earlier in career to do hackathons as a networking opportunity. So those are a few ideas about how this will help you. Let's see. What other credentials satisfy the requirements? As on the Microsoft website, most applied skills credentials are under maintenance. As I mentioned, we realize the applied skills credentials are under maintenance, and which is why if you're doing the applied skills route as opposed to a certification route, then you should send me the badge that you get when you complete the certification path, or the link to that within your Microsoft profile. Let's see if I've got an example of what I'm looking for here. They'd be under achievements. And so there'll be a learning path or a challenge that you completed to complete that. Most people who are doing the applied skills route are working through a specific challenge, specific learning path leaderboard that was put together through the organizations. But again, so let's assume that is, you'll go here. There, share the badge. So this would be the link that you would use if you're doing something other than your formal certification credential from Microsoft Line. I've got to find my screen again. Sorry. Okay, here's where I'm on video. Another question, will there be challenges or just those other two? There will be other challenges. Those are just the first two that I've got in there. I'll have at least one more, if not three more, that I post in there before the end of the week. Let's see. Does Learning Path have to be Azure or AI related? Yes. The learning that you do should be relevant to Azure and specifically AI. Because again, you're jumping into a hackathon with a team of people who are competing for this. You don't want to let them down, right? Be sure that if you're jumping into this, that you're ready to really contribute. And that's a big part of how we do it. Do all participants get participation certifications? Yes, I do issue everyone a Credly badge that you can share on your LinkedIn profile. Everyone who participates, everyone who submits a project, who works on a team and submits a project, those people all get a Credly badge so they can show what they did. So use React for the front end, Node.js for the back end. Sure, use anything you want. Hosted on Azure and using Azure AI services is the key. If you look into the rules, we get down here, click the official rules. What it really specifies is leverages and relies on one of the available Azure AI services. And there's the link there, which isn't clickable unless you download the PDF. But so use all the technologies you want, but it does have to rely for its functionality on at least one Azure AI service. Let's see, what's this question? Organization allowed us to join via our affiliation with being a graduate student, alum at our university. Okay, so I don't know what to put in because that's not through certification. So your organization is one I'm working with. Right into that box is a free-form text box, infinitely DDO. Please provide the information about the university that you're from. Again, I'm handling a lot of these on a case-by-case basis. So, preferred Azure certification. That's the main route into the hackathon. But if you're coming in through one of the organizations that is working directly with graduate students and alums at universities, indicate that in that box where it asks for your certification. Will you receive Azure credits to use during the hackathon? That's an important question. And unfortunately, no. We don't have Azure credits that we can provide. And so most, the Azure free trial, you can definitely do an excellent project with an Azure free trial. So that's, really where we point most folks to do it. Now, I'm finally going to get to talking about the judging because these things happen. So first of all, when you submit your project, you need the description, name the challenge. You need to link to a video doing your demo and talking about what you did. This is your main way to communicate with the judges. You'll actually upload that video directly to Hackbox, although it's good to have it on YouTube as well. Makes it easier for me to share with customers that might be interested in your project. PowerPoint presentation, that also really helps us. Then a link to the code in GitHub for the project. So judging, how does judging work? What are we looking for? There's 4 categories. Performance is 25%. Each of these categories is 25%. You're graded basically on a scale of 1 to 10 for each category. And no one gets a perfect 40. If you score 30 out of 40, that's a very high score. And so again, the bar is high because the problems are hard. But you will demonstrate that you've done something very awesome by the time you have something that you've built. So performance, what is that? That's does it work? And how well does it work? And so now if you're running into problems like say, hey, our Azure free trial expired, or we just can't get it working, focus on explaining your idea. And you can still get a lot of points even if you can't get your POC to work. Work hard, get the POC to work. That's points. You want that. That's why we're doing this. But performance is 25%. Innovation is 25%. Have we seen this before? I see it a lot. Those are kind of lower scores. If you've seen it before, you've seen a lot. Some of them at the higher end are, well, this doesn't just change, the way we use technology. This changes the way we do things. This is a game changer for the world. So big range there on what counts for innovation. Breadth of Azure services used. The more Azure you use, the more our judges like it. Get those architecture diagrams just chock full of Azure logos, and we will love that. Then responsible AI, I'll talk about. Let me answer this question first, and then I'll get into responsible AI. Never use all Azure credits. Create services, your organization account or school account. You can use any Azure subscription you have access to create your projects. Work it out with your team. See who's got the best access to the best Azure. And at the end of the day, what we're looking for is video of a demo and video of you talking about why you built, what you learned, how you approach your problems, and just give us a sense of yourselves as a team and as innovators. Okay, so responsible AI, it's 25% of the score. So what is responsible AI and why is it important? Let's go back here. This is where I've got it open. Now, there are a lot of questions about, bias in AI or bad things. Responsible AI is Microsoft's framework for being sure that AI works for humans and works well. I won't say it perfectly. I advise you to go to this website and understand our framework and understand what's in it. We will look for you to discuss how you applied the Responsible AI framework when you submit your project. You should have at least a slide on it and discuss it a bit in your demo. There's 6 components of it: fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, inclusiveness, transparency, and accountability. You can learn more about each of them on this site. And I really encourage you to dig into the tools, because at Microsoft, we've got lots of great ideas about how AI should work and lots of recommendations about how people should think about it. But we're also Microsoft. We love tools. We love process. We have engineering systems that are fail-safe ways for us to be sure that we are building things correctly. Dig in, apply some of those tools, use some of the frameworks, use some of the checklists. You'll find them here. Got this blog post about prompt shield, I believe, groundedness detection. We're building a lot of these directly into Azure itself. And so if you're using these as part of your solution because you want to be sure that you're, living and breathing responsible AI, those are the kind of things we want you to call out. The workbook, this is interesting too. You can download the workbook. It gives you a lot of ideas about that. So go back over to Hackbox here. See if I can get to the right window. But really, with that is the entirety of it. I'll stop sharing my screen. And it's amazing how bad I get at the controls when I'm not the producer and I'm on camera. So again, if you've got questions, reach out to me directly, matthew.calder@microsoft.com. Work with the organizations that you're coming into the hackathon through, the ones that got you here and the ones that are sending me your information. And let me just give it a moment for anyone to put any more questions in chat if you have them. Dilton, hey, thank you. Showed you on my demo here. We have no-cost subscriptions used during the challenge, like Sandbox, for example. No, I'm sorry, I can't provide Azure credits. You will need to use your own Azure subscription. The free trial, a lot of those services are free for an entire year, even after the first month. Getting people access to more Azure for free is a problem I continue to solve. But for now, we've got to depend on the free trial as our main route. Okay, and if that's all the questions, feel free to reach out to me in email. And I missed my opening music, but I'll go ahead and hit the closing music and sign off.